Welcome, welcome. Always more shit to talk about. There's always some fucking dumbass news. I guess we'll start with politics. Democrats, Epstein emails are getting released, and supposedly all the Democrats are saying that Donald Trump is a, pederast because he was on the email, but all I did was see his name. But all it was explaining how much Epstein disliked Donald Trump, all that stuff and that. Like, dude, you can't call someone a fucking... You can't call someone a fucking pedo and that without any actual evidence of it.
Your gun's hungry then, Vault Hunter.
But that's what these Democrats do in that. Like, they get all excited. They're like, oh, our enemy's on there. Yeah, I started hearing people actually like talk about that. Like my dad, kind of like sucks that my dad's like that. And so
Rest in misery.
and like so I'm like sitting there like thinking to myself and that I'm like what is going on with people? Like, I don't understand Democrats at all. Like, they have no logic. Like, they hear something, go by pure emotions. I don't get it. So, like, I went upstairs and that.
Control alt deleted.
And, like, I heard them talking about it a little bit. I know nothing of it because I don't watch the news that much. Because they watch that news, like, every fucking damn day. There's, like, brainwashed by the news.
Your courage wavers. Keeper! Where were you? Go, go, go!
And, like, I'm just sitting there like, oh, that's what's going on.
You struggle mightily.
Yeah, this set prep is way too powerful. I fucking love it.
The tighter the snare.
And I got unlimited ammo, basically. And I'm sitting there, like, listening to this shit, and then I'm like, oh, his name was just in it. And they're all getting all excited now. His name was, that means that he is, and da da da. And they're like, oh, they're just covered up for him and all this stuff. And I'm like, man. I mean, like, I guess. I can't say really look at it from that perspective. Like, what's true is true.
Is that what I'll look like when I die? Break away from me! Did I do good? Stay back! You
lose.
Death war is closer! You will bear it at our
ridiculous.
Let's do this thing, okay? Give me this assistance. On the move, people.
What is happening with your face area?
No, I say the accusational shit. It's all about the truth. It doesn't matter
Entering my possession now.
if Trump's doing a good thing or not.
Messy.
You know, there's just so much accusation out there. And every time I listen to Democratic talking points, they make no sense. They always say they're trying to cover everything up. That's literally what they always say.
As freaking if.
And I'm not even joking you. Like, they say shit all the damn time. They're trying to cover it up, trying to protect them. And that. Like, your side does that probably just as much, if not the whole entire time. Like, I'm confused when people say that shit. Because to me, it's politics. And people always cover up shit. That doesn't mean that things aren't true, but when you listen to Democratic talking points, they always lie. They lie a lot more. And they lie a lot. And people that want to believe their shit are just liars themselves.
How much further
People that lie about their own damn lies. Because anyone that knows truth is not going to believe bullshit.
naughty timekeeper loves his order.
That didn't work too well.
Hates imperfections. Sees them in everything he makes. Can't stand the sight of them.
But yeah. People really get excited about that stuff. Like, they're all like, oh my god. You know, we found something. We finally got Trump. Or Republicans were like, oh, Democrats are so stupid. And they're like, yeah, I can imagine Democrats are pretty fucking dumb. Hey, they believe a lot of stupid shit. I see that now. Okay. Might as well get ready for work. Today's going to be a really short shift. I'm actually really happy it's going to be short. I'm only going in for 5 hours. This is gonna be really fucking short today. Which is kind of weird why I'm only going in. I mean, I know why I'm going in for 5 hours, but because of the schedule that we got. But yeah. Very short shift. Kind of like it. That's why I'd rather work 6 days a week, because then I could just work, a couple of 6s and 5s, and then I get all my hours in, and then. Well, like my manager was telling me, he's like, oh yeah, we're gonna get you as close to 40 hours as we can. And I'm like, I mean, I don't mind it if I get 37, 38 hours. To me, it's fine. I'm not making a big deal about it. But yeah, every single time that we hear stuff like Republicans always, I'm hearing people like the one guy that was hearing that. First off, he mocked God, which is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. You have an older boomer type of guy and sat there and mocked God for like no reason at all. And he was saying, he's like, oh, Mike Johnson's, saying, he's a holy person or whatever, that he's, I said, Mike Johnson's actually not that bad of a fucking person at all. I don't believe he's a bad person. Because he's bringing God first. And, every time I listen to non-believer people now, they always do the God thing. Be like, oh, God should strike everybody down that doesn't agree with them. And they're like, that's not how God works, but okay. Like, if God struck everybody down, he wouldn't be God. A lot of people believe that he did that. Sodom and Gomorrah, yeah, it's because they sinned. They were like, they explained Sodom and Gomorrah now. Like, literally what they did is they did the worst of fucking sins. So basically, they're super fucking rich ass people in that. They were raping men and killing them. They were raping children. Oh, like the Epsteins? Oh, so like people that are filthy fucking rich and that they do a whole bunch of sexual shit in that. And God destroyed them, but he gave them hope with Lot and his family. God told Lot, if you can find anyone that doesn't sin, I will sit there and not destroy the nations, the two nations, to not destroy the cities or whatever they are. He said, find, 10 people that don't sin. And he counted it down, and all of a sudden he just find one person that doesn't sin. And that's what it was. So everybody's always saying oh, God just destroyed it for no damn reason, that they weren't sinning that bad. Motherfuckers are raping dogs and shit and cats and that. They're fucking everything. They're overly rich people that had too much privilege. And that's the whole point of why God said those things, and why God did those things. So when people want to sit there and scream and shout about something, I have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. Oh yeah. When you actually learn why they did that shit, you'd be very surprised how fucked up people are. Yeah, switch this gun. Switch. Yeah. Tired of fucking aiming. Kill the weak spots.
The heart awaits, and when you are inside.
But yeah, I learned that stuff and that. It blew my mind. I'm like, they're having dudes being raped by rich people, and then they would just kill them. I'm like, yeah, they deserved it. They deserved everything they got. Praise the Lord. people like that
But for you,
deserve maximum punishment. And that's, and death's the least of their worries, because, you know, it's not that God wants to be wrathful, it's just God doesn't like fucking sin. He hates evil. And when he made us to be lovers and not fucking destroyers, he made us to be prosperous together, not to destroy each other. But people always want to sit there and think it's okay. Rich, overly wealthy people always do the most secretive, evilest fucking things. It doesn't matter how good hearted they are. What the fuck is this? Oh. Oh, okay, yeah, he's one of the bolts I never did.
I tried to save you, but some fates are woven tight.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm like
An
overpowered as
anomaly,
fuck. I got
a
infinite ammo with
catalyst,
this,
a
and I
vault
hit
hunter.
like a fucking truck.
Chaos is the key to locks you cannot see. Take your weapons, if you have the
Everyone's got
strength
the
to
best weapons
wield
in the
them.
game now. Got this. I should have used this one on him. This gun's fucking amazing. This gun hits like a truck. I need to get the level 50 of this gun because this gun's extremely powerful. And this gun's just fucking the Uzi. But yeah, that sniper rifle with the stuff that I have, the sniper rifle is probably the best because I have unlimited ammo. Then I don't really run out of ammo. What the fuck is this?
I'm just getting started.
Oh, that's fucking
If you feel
cool.
the need to prove yourself again,
I get faster
I will
regeneration
always be
now, or
waiting
faster for my gliding.
here.
It's cool. I like that. Yeah, it is really fucking quick. That's pretty cool. I like that. I don't have any different vehicles. I don't know if I got another one. I maxed this out. That has the best handling, has more boost, has less speed. More accuracy, more boost. I'll do this one. But yeah, it gets to the point where it's just kind of weird though, like how people always interpret things in those ways, and it kind of blows my mind. Like Like they always want to be. They always want to be that super judgmental pricks and shit. Like, oh, it has to be like this, has to be like that. Like, I don't be like fucking anything.
You wish you could control me. Dead, dead, dead.
Yeah, I didn't see what that gun was.
Flip the switch.
Existence.
That gives me the sticky gun. This gun's actually not that bad. It's just fucking sticky. Like, if it was just explosion, it'd be better, but. Yeah.
Want to be suppressed?
But yeah, every time I hear anything with the politics and that, the Democrats are the first ones to get all crazy about that shit. Be like, oh my god, they found something. Like, they're itching for something to happen. I don't think Donald Trump is a bad person. You know, the dude wants peace in the world, and I don't think he wants the world to be constantly at war and shit. You know, like, I don't think anything should be at war. But Democrats, like, it's not even the Democrats altogether, because like it's only a very small amount of them that are actually in cahoots with the with you know the socialist communist stuff. The most of them just do it just because it's a fucking paycheck. They just get paid. They have a good livelihood in that, so that's like, well, that's a shameful thing too, because you're getting paid just to fucking sit there and
You wish you could control me.
follow people around and then lying to people about shit.
I'm your biggest nightmare.
Oh, fuck these sneezes. But that's what it is, a lot of people. And like when they talk about that, I'm like, are you sure that's actually what they're saying? Or are you just fucking just saying that just because you're bored? Like, when you read into anything, there's always something to read into. And when people sit there and do these accusational shits, which they tend to do a lot, you tend to find out that people are fucking lying. And then people get mad when their side gets caught with lies. And they're like, oh my god, it wasn't that. They're covering it up. As in, how blatantly fucking ignorant are you?
An anarch among us? Explosive launch. I think we need more guns.
Bye.
It's like, how ignorant are Democratic people that still believe that stuff? Not like every time I look at my dad, like he believes that stuff 100%. Like, and I'm just sitting like, how do you believe in something like that? You know, I don't get it myself because I mean, not that I care about. I'm not saying Trump's the promised one, all that shit, because that's fucking stupid. But
The timekeeper is gonna
just
love
like any
me.
other president, you know, they all have their faults. They all have their things they have to do in that. But they do stuff strategically because of what's going on. I said, okay, that's cool. No one's gonna be 100% up front in politics. They can't. There's a reason why it's called politics. Politics is a way of like producing shit very, very slowly. They work slow as fuck. They do everything as slow as possible. But the funny thing is, Donald Trump actually initiated things extremely fucking fast. And like all I hear is Democratic people picking very selective stories. And like my dad like agreed with it. So he's talking to one of the guys and that. And this is how Democratic people talk. Like Democratic push other Democrats to line them with themselves. And if they're trying to like get away from it. But I was having a conversation with this guy that works for us. He's like a carpenter. He's like fixing our house and that. He's a good carpenter and that. But he leans very towards, you know, very heavy Democrat. Like he doesn't like Trump really. I said, well, I understand that, you know. I get that, you know. You could dislike someone, but like you don't know the man too well. Like it doesn't matter what people actually state about anybody. You don't know the person in depth. Even like say like people that you know go after certain people and that like you know like the Obamas now. I was like I don't think Obama's a terrible fucking person. They all had their hide and seek shit. Of course they do. Which president doesn't? But yeah, like this whole politics thing is just stupid. People are going back and forth and stuff and that, and like I understand people are making videos about how dumb people are and that. Yeah, there's some stupid ass fucking people out there. And like you got the older boomer Democrats that don't agree with all the transgender gay shit, and then you got the millennial people and that are all part of the feminist bullshit. They're not really into the transgender and that stuff and that, but then you got the Gen Z people that are the ones that are into the whole. So you got three different type of politics going around. You got boomer Democrats, you got millennial Democrats, you got the Gen Z Democrats. And they're all sitting there fighting for three different types of things and then they all don't agree with each other. Like, I know boomers agree with what Donald Trump's doing with getting the clean up the country and that. They're like getting crime away and that. But then some of them are just like they just hate Trump, so they don't believe him at all. I said it's not about what to believe in him. He's not the one doing it. It's the people in the administration and the people below that are doing it. It's the police. It's the ICE agents. It's the people that are actually trying to clean up the fucking shit. But they insist on thinking Trump's going down there with guns. How he's doing it. It's kind of bullshit too. Because they're fucking lying about shit and making up shit that doesn't make any sense. Saying that he's deporting Americans. I'm listening to these Democrat, like the guy that works for us. He's like deporting Americans. Like, what do you mean deporting Americans? That's what he's gonna do next. He's gonna deport all the people. I'm just like, you're just Well, the mom's back home from the hospital. She's doing a lot better. She has a little problem with walking and that, but you know, that's what happens when you have issues like that. But she's gonna get better. She just needs to
I feel
stop stressing
vulnerable
out
and
too damn much.
exposed.
That's what I love about God. God doesn't want
How
us
did
to
you
stress
survive this
out. He
long?
really prohibits us from worrying about shit.
This feels like it's escalating.
Can I be closer? Yeah, let me get closer.
I win. Hope you said your goodbyes.
Pirate.
Jerks. You creeping yourself out too?
Oh, my fucking nose. I trim all my fucking nose hairs. Gonna get nose hairs out of them. Fucking man. So I'm sitting there and trimming my nose hairs out and that. Cause I got a Manscaped. Manscaped works really fucking good with that shit. And like I have to use it because it gets annoying. Only thing good about being young. Well, the truth is, like the funny thing is, like I was looking at the Bible and that, and I was not looking at the Bible, but I was listening to people talk about the Bible and that, about priesthood and that, and they were overly explaining priesthood doesn't start until 30. Actually, no, it was talking about why did Jesus die at 33. And they said people in their 30s are in the prime of their lives, like 30s and 40s are at the prime of their lives because they're all developed. They know how the world works. They know how financial stuff works. They're actually quite intelligent with almost like the bulk of the stuff.
Screw you and screw the
And
timekeeper.
it's kind of funny though, because that's the honest truth. Is like, as soon as I hit my 30s and that, I start changing dramatically, and I start understanding things a little more. Not, I didn't follow just emotional trends of what was going on in the world on that. I follow, you know, my heart a little bit more.
Why don't you ask the timekeeper for help?
So, even all
And
the
like,
knights want some tending.
You're just pretending.
I would say like other
anyway.
people in that, it's really hard to follow your heart sometimes when you're young because you're fucking stupid. You do stupid shit, you say stupid shit, and you just don't know anything that much. And I always say that's the reason why a lot of people that are younger than that, they don't necessarily understand the whole life thing too much. They kind of just go with what they believe in their heart to a certain extent, but they don't always follow very heavy trends. They're always very disobedient. Like someone's not fully grown, as in fully developed, knowing stuff in that until they hit 30, and that's when the life actually starts. Is at 30. It's kind of funny that people, it takes that long for people to grow in that. But honestly, this is because people don't really grasp. They don't grasp that stuff that much, as in they don't understand it. And that's why when you get to an older age, you start to understand it more. And once you start understanding life a little bit more, it all starts to change. Like being healthy, lifting weights, eating good food, having a good communication structure, trying to be the authentic person that you are, and don't be fake. Obviously, be the actual true person that you are. Because some people they're fakers. They tend to be people that they're fucking not, because the trends and culture and that. I listen to people that talk about music, for instance, and music overall. God talks about it as in, it's the gateway to your heart is music. So when people listen to certain music, it stimulates certain emotions. So if you listen to music that sits there and it fucks with you, it like it it destroys you or builds you. That's why people say listen to Mozart or listen to classical music, just music without words. It stimulates good brain function. Like your brain works better. It dilutes bullshit better. You look at things differently.
Is this their best? How sad for you! Finish the distance!
And that's why people like listening to classical music and that, and they become actually fucking smarter.
See ya.
They absorb information better. So yeah, I have to say, music
Be
can
present
either
for
fucking
all the
destroy you
crowd!
or fucking make you.
Do me a favor and
That's why like you get like women that are Taylor Swift brains, and they're Taylor Swift brains. They're 100% into believing everything that she says. Jesus talks about this stuff as being super, well, first off, it's super satanic and that, and it's really stupid.
I can smell your fear from here.
Of course, he doesn't use the word stupid in that. He uses more or less the word, like, these are just wicked people and that, The one that doesn't follow the, God and that, and the Trinity and that, more or less likely are going to be the ones that sit there and, you know, they're the ones that harness the earth right now because of how it is.
You think
So they
you're
harness
all
the world.
hot?
The world loves them. That's why they get all this money. That's why they get all this fame and that. And then people say, like me, for instance, the world doesn't like me because I'm a truth seeker. The world is full of liars, adulterers, idolaters. They're full of people that just don't care. They want to live that one life, and they think that's the only life they live. That's why they do all this stuff, and they preach about it. you know.
Deactivated.
My advice to my enemies: run! Alright, let's have a good service!
And they preach about it a lot.
Flaming hot rock!
And then they sit there
Can't die like that on my first day!
and they like to get mad at everybody else. They always will say certain things. Bible thumpers. People explore the Bible not. You know, the churches fuck over everybody. Not, you know, why would I believe in a religion that sits there and does this and that? Like, well, it's not about the religious itself. It's about the faith that you have with Jesus. It's not nothing to do with the religion. That's why Christianity religion is, you know, far-fetched sometimes. People don't actually do the things that Jesus wants us to do, like have faith. You know, try to be a better person. But it doesn't matter what you do if you don't believe in Christ, which is the sacrifice lamb for us. Then you can't get God. You can't get the Father. It's just how it is. People debate it. Like, one thing I was listening to is why did God create Islam? This is what the title of it was. Why did God create Islam? And I listened to it, and I was going through the Bible. It was all this stuff's in the Bible. As I say, if you actually read the Bible, you actually understand what the hell is actually going on. People don't read the Bible at all. They take selective verses and they just run with certain verses. So, like, most of the Old Testament talks about the two brothers of Abraham. It always brings up the two brothers of Abraham. And the two brothers of Abraham always come down to Islam and Christianity. That's why no other religion really matters. They're all just the byproducts of Christianity and Islam. So, why did God put people that hate Christians in this world? People always ask the question, like, why does God do all this stuff and that if he wants to be dominated? I said, because when you look at what's the most faithful person, the one that doesn't get distraught, the one that doesn't disobedience when something changes. Like a Muslim guy asked me, he's like, oh, I was like, you should join the Muslim community. I'm like, why? He's like, I don't believe in the Quran. That no offense, Muhammad, you know, for what your Quran says about what Muhammad actually did, he wasn't the best fucking person, you know. So I don't really believe in a prophet that's a warlord. When you dig into that, it's not to say he was like that the whole entire time. No, it's just but Islam's always fighting against Christians. So why would I want people to sit there and fight against what God gave us? And that's what the Muslims hate the most. They don't like that we got the covenant, that we have God's covenant. But the thing is, it's never been about the covenant all the way. It's been about, do you believe or do you not believe in Jesus as your Savior, as your King? That's all it was. And that's what they don't do. And that's why they struggle with that. But the funny thing is, Muslims are starting to change their mind now because they're starting to see the truth. I say, yeah, because it's the fucking truth. You know, you have to see the truth for what the truth is. You can't just doubt the truth and that and just say, oh, well, you know, this person said this and this person said that type of bullshit. Like, no, what truth is truth. It doesn't matter. You know, and that's what Jesus preaches about. He preaches about the truth. And people always get offended by that stuff. I said, why do you get offended by that stuff? Why do you get upset? Why, well, like, why are you so determined that your side's right? But what if it's not right? Are Islamic people fucking peaceful? Well, according to the history of the Islams and that, and the Muslims, the true Muslims, see, there's true Christians and true Muslims. There's some people that are not true Christians and true Muslims. I live next to Muslim people. They're actually refugees, basically. Most of them came from Bosnia. And Bosnia was what? Bosnia was a Christian country. It wasn't a Muslim country. It was a Christian country. But Muslims took over and demand them to be. And I know the history of it too, because one of the guys that I worked with told me the history of it. And I told him, like, so you're not even Muslim, you're actually Christians. And he kind of like looked at me. He's like, well, yeah, but we were yeah. So why are you going against your own heritage then? If you're saying that you're not a Muslim, that Bosnians were more or less Christians, then why are you going against the ruling of Muslims then? Because you're not a Muslim, dude. You're a Christian. But it's a faith thing. Now they sat there and I would say their faith was lost. And that's the whole point. People that stay faithful to to Jesus Christ all the way, even till death, they get eternal life. God said that specifically through Christ, because the Father speaks. Christ does the works of the Word. And the Holy Spirit is the breath. That's how it literally goes down to being. That's why when you speak, you get all three Trinities. Or you get the Trinity. You get all three of the Trinity. Your body's made from the body of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. That's why you have authority when you speak. That's why people listen when you speak. That's why people do certain things when they speak. It's just how it is. When you speak words, you listen. If people don't listen to words, more or less likely because they're immature or they're blocked off. Why does Lucifer have, see no evil, do no, or see no evil, speak no evil, hear no evil? The reason why that's a statement of Lucifer is because if you can't see, speak, or hear, you can't tell what evil is. You just believe in what what you already have. And some people are closed off, like they said, the echo chamber of people, and that they don't want to hear the truth. They want to live in an echo chamber because they're safer. They don't want to be harmed, so they give in. Well, that comes down to the mark of the beast then. People have the mark of the beast already, and they don't even know it. Because they don't want the truth. They despise the faith of Jesus. They despise it, and they use words. And Jesus talks about this in the Bible. He talks about wicked people that will sit there and try to act like they're faithful, but they're just hypocrites. They don't actually follow. They're not actually trying to thrive to try to be, a good person, because they don't know Jesus. That's why they can't thrive to be like him, because they don't know him. They don't talk to him. They don't pray to him. They just sit there and just keep on doing their same things. And they don't believe. Well, if you don't believe in something, then you're not going to know that something. That's where it comes down to. It comes to belief. It's like, that's why you always see like most Muslim people that they believe in deeply. And there's a lot of signs that saying, that when Gabriel came down, which is the archangel of message, he came down to talk to Muhammad about stuff. And people insist on believing that Muhammad is No, he was a prophet. And a lot of people say, they always analyze, what does it all mean? Well, when you read in the Bible, and that actually explains it. So Islam is a carrier of faith to the Christians. Islam believes in one God, Allah. But they don't believe that Jesus Christ is king. But Jesus specifically states, I am the only way, I am the only truth, I am the only life to the Father. You cannot get to the Father unless you go through me. Well, when you got to look back at Abraham, okay, well, Abraham, I figured this out now because I really don't read the Old Testament too much, but it actually explains. Now I actually know, because I'm listening to it, but I never listened to it before. Now I'm really listening to that. Abraham's a very big part of why we have all the things that we have. Number one, the birth of Ishmael, or I think that's what his name was. Basically, the founder of Islam, the founder of Muslims. Abraham's wife, Sarah, brought one of the Ethiopian slaves to basically bear a child with Abraham. So he bare a child in that, and the child was, born, and the child was the one that is going to be fruitful and many, and that, and created the Muslim Islam community, the whole nation of that. But the birth of it was by works, because he impregnated her. But when you get this point of what God actually said about the second son, he says, you will bear a second son. So Sarah and Abraham had faith, and they bared a son. But the son wasn't bared by sexual interaction. It was bared by God. See, this is the difference. Jesus was bared by a virgin. And people always get this, well, how should she get pregnant? I'm like, God can do anything he wants to do. He's God. Like, I don't think people, like atheist people are like, well, how God, people have to really stop thinking like a mortal and start thinking that God can do what he wants to do with intent. His whole his whole way of as being a creator, the creation of the world, and that God, for what I understand, the Bible, Jesus actually explains it. God is love. He cannot break his own laws. He cannot. Like the Ten Commandments, he cannot do that. It's just how he is in nature. Like there's things that he cannot do, and he explains it. He cannot break certain things. It's not in his nature. It's not in who he is. It can't happen. It just can't happen. People try to say, well, he's the grantor of free will. He's a grantor of time. He can't. He gave all angels free will. He gave everybody free will. He can't go back on. He can't control certain things in that because he has to bear the sorrows of that. And Jesus actually explains that how much sorrow God bears when his creation that he loves goes and does stupid shit and goes against him. He doesn't like it, but he gave us free will to find him, to get closer to him, to love him. And that's kind of the point there. That people don't see it from that perspective. And I try to say, well, people see it from that perspective. It's because it's a choice. That's why God says it's a choice to love. It's a choice to be happy. You have free will. So when people go to that point and they're trying to say, well, why don't you do it for me? He says, I cannot. It's not in my nature to force anyone to do anything they don't want to do. That's not how God is. God was never like that in the first place. But people always interpret it. And so when you listen to hypocritical people talk, like the guy that's working for us and that, he mocked God. He said some stupid ass shit and that was just ignorant. Because he was talking about the whole Trump thing, the emails for Epstein that had Trump's name on it, and all the Democrats were like, "Oh, he's a pederast and all that shit." And I'm like, well, what did the emails actually say? It's like, oh, well, they said Epstein fucking hated Trump. He didn't like Trump at all, and that blah blah blah. I said, okay, well that clears it up. But politics is politics. People from both sides always want to say we got someone. I don't give a fuck about both of them. It's like it's just fun to listen to. But it all puts a point out there. When Jesus talks, and I like people are always quick to judge people, which it's in nature that we do that. It doesn't matter if we know the person or if we do know the person. We're always quick to judge because that's funny though. Why do we judge so much if we're not made by the judger? Why do we always do that stuff to everybody? Why are we always nagging people? We're judging people. We're telling people what to do in that because that's what God does. God commands. The Father commands the angels. He commands, his promised people to do things in that. So if you say that you're not made from a creator, then why do you do the things that the creator does? When you read the Bible, like God, it tells us specifically how we are in his nature. We're just like him in his nature. We're very judgmental, as in we judge everything, but we're not the judger. We're made with the image, but we get the mindset because we do the same thing. God implicates that he's the only one that needs to do it, but we do it also. Of course, God knows. God knows that we do these things, and we do it a lot. That's why Jesus says, to not judge people unless you judge yourself first. And that's kind of like the whole point. And that's why it's good to talk about it in that, because it makes kind of sense. And it's like, so anyway, so we'll go back to what the guy was saying. So the guy was sitting there, and he was talking about Trump being a pedo and all this bullshit and that, all this crap and that. Like, okay, whatever. And he says, and this is where the mockery came in. They brought up the person of the house, the leader of the house, and they instantly brought up religious. They instantly brought up, well, he's a religious person, all that stuff and that. How can he sit there and do all that stuff and that? And this is where the mockery came in. And I was just like, oh, bro, you're going way too far over your old fat ass self. Don't be doing that stupid shit. It's like you have no right to speak on God's terms because you're a fucking idiot. Like that's the stupidest fucking blasphemy shit I've ever seen. I'm like, wow, you're an idiot. I don't give a fuck how good of a person you are or not. Anyone that blasphemes against the Father gets judged and gets judged accordingly. Things happen all the time when people mock God. I'm like, you're an idiot, bro. I'm like, no, have mercy upon his soul, Father, because he's an idiot. He doesn't understand. And so like I'm sitting there, I'm listening to him talking that. And he says, well, God should strike him down for where he stands because of this. But the thing is, when you look at it, I said, okay. So for the one that tells the one that doesn't know the truth, how can you command anything of anyone when you're being lied to? You don't know the truth. God knows everything. God knows the truth. Everything's been written through the prophecies of Daniel and Isaiah and all that stuff and that. Everything's been written already. I said, well, how are you to sit there and demand a creator, the creator, to do something? He doesn't do that towards Lucifer and the fallen angels. He judges everything accordingly. I said for an older person that's been around for quite a bit of years and that, most people read the Bible. Most people have read the Bible before that, but they lose track of it in their mind. I said, well, it's because you're not. That's because you're not in true faith. That's why you do that. You're not in true faith at all. You got like 10 minutes left. I want to say that you're a fucking liar. Because when you say these things and you promote these evil deeds and you sit there and try to say stuff that one shall do that has all the power to do it, but you know, why would God do something so dramatic like that just because of something? God hates evil. Okay, so for the one that speaks, are you sure you never done anything evil in your life? Nothing evil at all. You never killed anybody. You never talked shit about anybody. You never sat there and thought about banging some chick in the ass and that. For the one that, does not sin, cast the first stone. And that's the famous line from Jesus when he's talking about the Pharisees. And why he said it like that? Because they're all sinners. You can't judge another person. You can critique people on that for certain things, for learning purposes, but you can't full on judge another person for that you do the same as they do. You sin just as much. And I mean, you may not sin as badly to a certain extent. Yeah, some sins are worse than others. But the honest truth is, we all fucking sin. We all do it. And when we want to sit there and think that we don't, then that's the problem that you start to have. You start to think that you're better than everybody else. And that becomes pride. And when pride settles in, well, you're pretty much fucked. Because pride enables you to not believe that you are who you are. You tend to think that you're better than everybody else. And people do it. Like, I have this, I have that. You can have everything in the world. I don't like the world as much as the world doesn't like me. I really don't give a shit about the world. If people come at me and that, which, they occasionally do that, they say some ridiculous stuff, you can fully say that they're hypocrites. They have to hear their own boasting, and they have to look at themselves in that, and, like, it's cool, it's just how it is. You can't stop it. People are who they are. There's nothing you can do about it besides just sit there and just listen to them. When you start listening to people now, you start going down that road, start understanding things, life changes for everybody. But when this guy was saying this stuff and that, and I was just like thinking about it, and I'm like, but what if that's not true? What you said, well, it has to be true. So it has to be true, which means you don't know that's true. Listen to your words. You don't know that's true. So you say blasphemy stuff demanding that God should strike someone down. And then this is the kicker. What he said afterwards, I was like, yeah, I ain't gonna. What you said was the dumbest thing I ever heard. He said for that if he doesn't strike him down, that God is worthless. I was like, yeah, you did it. You're an idiot. Okay, you full on just fucking blaspheme against God and you blaspheme against the Father and have fun with that because yeah, you're a fucking idiot. When you say the Father, the Creator is worthless, for the one that blesses us with every day to be beautiful, for every day to be happy, and you say such ignorant shit like that, man, get the fuck out of my house, man. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. How in the world are you gonna sit there and demand something when you are no one? You're fucking nobody. You're lying, you're boasting, saying I was all this and that when I was younger and that. See, that's the problem about truth seekers like me. We know the bullshit. I see right through the bullshit. Every time someone boasts about how strong they are, boasts about all the shit they did when they were fucking younger, man, I wasn't back then. And I look at them and that. Like, if you have so much fucking strength and all that stuff now, why don't you have it now? Oh, because I'm old. Motherfucker, I'm almost 40. What do you mean? I'll be 30 fucking 6. The only thing I gotta strengthen up is my legs and that, all that stuff and that, which I'm gotta do legs fucking tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm 36 almost. I'm jacked as fuck. Got big ass fucking forearms now. I got big ass arms. My back's huge. My chest is huge. I only been working out for the last barely a year. So don't tell me that you just make up a bunch of googity 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 goo. You just fucking lying through your teeth, bro. So when you go back to how it is, man, I've seen people in their 60s that look fucking good. They're all fucking, they're jacked. They've been jacked since they were little and that, when they were in their 30s and 40s and shit. Or even their 20s and that. Don't tell me the bullshit, bro, because you're bullshitting. When I was your age, man, you were never as strong as me. You were never even as big as I was. Because the way you think about it. You're just lazy. That just proves to me that you're just a liar. You're just a manipulator. You want things to be a specific way inside your head. That's what we call a fucking echo chamber. We want to believe that we're something that we're not. Okay, motherfucker. For someone that sits there and blasphemes against God, good luck with that. Don't say such things. Because the one kid I work with, he blasphemed against God. And the next couple weeks in that, he's been going through hell. He has been showing up to work. He's been fucking sick. Something. Yeah. Because it's a disciplinary thing. When you say stupid shit, you get stupid fucking gifts. Please don't. Because I done it when I was little and that. My life was fucking terrible. Because when you deny God, the devil creeps in. The devil creeps in, he don't love you. The devil creeps in, he makes your life a hell. That's why you live life in heaven and hell. You take both sides. You choose the one or over the other. Sometimes it's up and down. Up and down. Your dopamine levels. That's the choice. When you're fully with God in that, or getting closer to being with the Holy Spirit in that, your dopamine levels are always balanced out. You're always happy. You don't sit there and get your fucking downs and ups. That's why junkies are in hell. They're like, man, I'm really down in hell and I'm really high in heaven. That's what all of it means. But I'm always high. I'm always feeling good. If negativity comes towards me, I normally just ignore it. Or I look at it for the truth that it is. That's what it is. Everything that happens in life happens for a reason. But once you understand how God actually works, you start seeing the blessings. And the blessings are everywhere. People don't think about it like that, but it's the truth. Some people worship the world, and the devil gives them everything. The devil gives them, and sometimes they're the most ignorant fucking people in the world. So how good people worship money and that. You're worshiping the Lucifer, but they don't think that. You're worshiping Lucifer. You're worshiping Satan. You worship the devil. They don't believe in that. It's like, well, I'm just worshiping money, though. I love money. That's the devil. That's one of the demons. That's one of the fallen angels. The demigods. That's what it is. Like, people don't grasp that. They don't understand that. If you're not following Jesus, the only person that you're following is Lucifer, Satan. That's it. That's just plain and simple. There's only one or two sides. You either choose one or the other. Sometimes God plants gifts. So like me, for instance, I don't like the world. I despise this world. I don't like everything that's going on. I despise all the celebrities. I despise all the politics and that. More and more, I just don't want to be here. I despise this fucking piece of shit cursed world. It's not even the world itself. It's the people in it. It's the curse of the world, curse of the first sin. I don't like it. I despise sin. It's annoying. I have to go through with it. It's annoying that, it's hard for me to not look at a chick's fat ass. It's annoying to me to sit there and think about, I do more adultery type stuff, because I'm a pervert, it's just how it is. Most men deal with this, if not all men deal with being perverted. And same thing with women. We're all perverted fucking creatures. I don't like that sin. I don't want to sit there and, you know, if a dude brings in his girlfriend that and she's fine as fuck, and I'm gonna sit there and look at her like, I'll instantly go back, damn, she's hot. I'm gonna admit to it, yeah. To myself, obviously, because it's ignorant to go up to the front, like, damn, dude, can I have a piece of that ass that your girlfriend has? You go, no, man, that's my girlfriend. It's like, oh, it's okay, you can have it sometimes. What? But anyway, but the whole point of it is, no one likes that. When you're a child, what do? You want to be entertained. You're not sexually involved with nothing because you haven't grown into that point of being like that. That idea in your head doesn't exist. Everyone, you know, and that's the problem is like you have to fight more to understand. You have to fight back against it. You have to change your ways of doing things, and it's really difficult. And some people fall in line and they don't do the things, but most people know it's really difficult. It's the hardest thing in the world to sit there and to not do something that you enjoy. That's why I say like masturbation is the hugest thing that people always seem to do a lot of because they enjoy it so much. It's no different than doing drugs. It's the same thing. It's just natural because you're doing it to yourself. And it creates a natural stuff, chemicals in that in your brain that you're not trying to take something that's going to be more harmful to you. But even still, doing that still fucks with you. It makes you tired. It makes you weak. It makes you less strong. Your masculinity goes down. Because, you know, when you sit there and you do C retention, that your energy levels go up. That's why a lot of people do it every now and again because you're you know, the more sperm that you have inside your testes, the more testosterone that you build up. You get really fucking intense. You get slightly aggressive when you have so much of that in you. And you do. I tested it out to where I haven't done it for like 3 days, and like it eventually dies down, it balances out. But the first like glimpse of it is huge amount of fucking energy. You're always awake. You can't fucking sleep. You sit there and you struggle. You're popping boners all over the place, and your body's trying to tell you like, dude, you need to get this out of you because it is too much. Not every guy deals with stuff in that, but I personally deal with it myself, and I need to get going for work. Anyway, stay true to yourself. Jesus Christ is king. Everybody else is, you know, needs to fall before they get up. That's just how it always is. Anyway, you guys have a good one. God bless.